There you go. I love that. I don't know why I love that voice so much. So, all right. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. All right. So this is the overview class on September 26th over everything possible on the Scout Leroy Marketing virtual tech services offering. So the first thing that I always like to point out whenever we're talking about anything that's available for agents to utilize or for leadership to utilize, first thing first on here, everything will be accessible under this agent resources section. All right, so you'll want to sign in with your Market Center number, but once you sign in on there, so I'm currently logged in right now, but once you sign in on here, this is where everything is going to display for you to utilize right away. All right, so just looking at all these different resources we have, let's just go step by step through everything. So the first thing we're going to see on here is our questionnaire section. So I know obviously this is going beyond the basics today, beyond the onboarding only portion, but I always like to start with this just to give y'all an idea of everything that is available for you and what all we're actually doing to set everything up too. So first thing first, we obviously have our new agent questionnaire. So how this is sent out to the agents is completely up to y'all. We'll talk about that a little bit further on. All right, obviously a lot changed around May 8th, so I definitely want to make sure everything is good to go for y'all. But this new questionnaire is going to ask a very minimal amount of questions now in comparison to what we were asking before. All right, we're going to be able to pull a lot of information now from their My Profile section. Got an iPhone hopping on here. All right, so we're going to be able to pull a lot of information from that new My Profile section to set up everything possible. Now, in addition to that, we also happen to have obviously one just for admins that are joining on, ones that are maybe for admins that are now changing to agents. Maybe they just became licensed. This will help them out. One for cappers or R2 agents to help to expedite their entire turnaround time on here. So that way we're going to get them set up even quicker to make their life a little bit easier. One purely just for command. So if agents are saying, I want to get started on the command platform, maybe I haven't used it before, this will help out tremendously. And this is my personal favorite. It's our existing agent questionnaire. This asks 6 questions. Get one more person on, sorry about that. 6 questions, 2 of which are their names. I always say SAT rules definitely work on here at the end of the day. So this existing agent questionnaire is really meant for the agents to get spot checked. So if they filled it out today, then we would basically say, you know, hey, as of September 26th, what does that look like? Are you fully set up with everything possible on here? You know, how can we help to get this up and running even quicker? All right, we also happen to have one for agents working in multiple market centers to highlight both locations. One for hidden agents, so basically agents that are cappers that are coming over that haven't alerted their brokerage quite yet, so that way we can get them set up without making anything live. One for staff, much like yourself, obviously. One for agents coming back to Keller Williams, teams, and then also internal transfers. So not external transfers if they're coming from a different brokerage like Call Banker, EXP, Century 21, but basically moving from market center to market center instead. All right. So to jump into this a little bit further, I'm just going to look at these questionnaires, the new agent one and the existing agent one real quick. And of course, if y'all have any questions at all, I'm going to put a couple of these things inside our chat section so you'll have direct links to everything. Please feel free to chat away on here so I can see everything coming through. All right, but our questionnaire now is really going to ask next to nothing is what I always say. All right, so we're really just asking bare minimum information now of like, what is your preferred first and last name on here? All right, so in this case, geez, you know, maybe their first name is Alexander, but they go by Alex. Then we'll be able to adjust that form right away. All right, what is your login and password for command since they're now creating that? All right, and then a couple other minor items too, like obviously what's their personal email? And then of course, you know, what would they like as their KW.com email or their website? And then do they even have a headshot or logo? So very basic information now. So if you remember what the questionnaire used to look like, this is going to be a lot different now to make it a little bit simpler at the end of the day. All right. Now the existing agent questionnaire is even easier. All right, so once again, 6 questions, and this is basically a great way to go through and see if that agent is up to date on all their KDB tools as of that day. So if they joined on 9/26 of 2022, 9/26 of 2021, it's great to go back and say, you know, hey, if I signed up again today on 9/26 of 2023, what all am I missing? Or maybe they originally joined and they joined a team immediately and they got all their team information set up. Well, outside of that, that's fantastic. But then beyond that, you know, now maybe they're not on a team. Well, how do we get this up and running a little bit further on here? All right, so that's all accessible for y'all to help out a little bit further. So please feel free to utilize this. So 6 questions that are required, and then obviously if they have a headshot they want to update, we can add that in as well too. Now, to get them to fill out that questionnaire, though, completely up to y'all. All right, there's a couple ways that I usually highly suggest this now that the new system has rolled out. So now that May 8th adjustment happened and everything's going through Command MC. All right, so the first thing on here is, option number 1, where the agent is going to fill out the command onboarding system and then simultaneously fill out the SLM questionnaire. So this is more of the dependent model. All right, or sorry, the independent model, my apologies, because the agent is actually going to be doing everything on their own. All right, the more dependent-ish model is where the agent will fill out the command onboarding system. So once you actually send off that invite link, they're filling out that paperwork with the office staff, in person, and then they'll simultaneously fill out our questionnaire. Or the third option is more of doing it how y'all may have done it before, whenever adding them into Winmore. Maybe you did everything for the agent. So all of a sudden you're actually filling out all that information and then filling out the questionnaire for them as well too. Now, at the end of the day, as long as we receive that, setup questionnaire after they've actually filled out some of their information on here, that would be fantastic. All right, so we want to make sure that they have their command, login, and password so we can start that immediately. All right, so once they send that over to us, then we are all good to go. And if you want to share this, all right, so I'm going to put this over inside our chat section. Here are some canned responses we've actually created for office staff to utilize. So this first one is more of that independent method like I was talking about, where the agent is going to fill out the command onboarding system and then simultaneously fill out our questionnaire as well too. All right, so if that happens on here, then here is a nice little canned response that you can actually send off to them and then fill in the blanks basically. Welcome aboard. You're about to receive an email from no-reply@system.kdb.com with the subject line of KDB invitation. All right, once you receive that email, please fill out our questionnaire at the same time. All right, so then you can actually CC us on that email and basically say, please welcome, Diane to the Keller Williams as a new agent. And then we'll send off that proper questionnaire form right away. So that way you don't have to memorize all the links. You don't have to memorize everything. But then it also gives us a warm introduction to the agents. They know that once we actually, they receive stuff from us, they'll know that it's actually coming from, a viable resource, someone that's not going to be charging them for anything. All right, now outside of that, we also happen to have that second option. So if you're filling this out in person, like maybe they're coming in person to actually do that onboarding paperwork. All right, so in this option, the office would fill out the SLM questionnaire with the agent while they complete the AMS system in the office, or basically complete that invite link that they'll receive. All right, so then this isn't something you have to remember verbatim by any means, but in this case, during your onboarding orientation, we're going to fill out the Scout Leroy Marketing Questionnaire. The questionnaire will help you to have a white glove experience setting up all your KDB technology. All right, so that way they kind of know who we are and why they're filling that out in addition to the invite link. All right, now the third option is more of if you're actually going to do everything for the agent, you want to take that off their plate. So in this case, if you are sending that invite email over to them directly, then you can ask them to send it back to you so you can complete that step for them and then also complete our questionnaire as well too. All right, so completely up to y'all at the end of the day as to how this might look. Now, as long as they fill out that questionnaire to get onboarded after they've gone inside that invite link, because they'll have to create their login and password now. So after they've gone through and, created that username and password, this will be perfect on here. All right. Now, with that being said, once this is completed, y'all should receive something like this. All right. So this is going to be our setup complete email on here. All right, so as you can see, it's going to come out. It's going to say something like Keller Cloud Setup Complete, dash, the agent's first and last name, dash, and then Market Center number, and then your MC number. Now, you'll receive 2 versions of this Setup Complete email, just to give you all a heads up. So the first version is going to be our first draft. That's going to come out when our Tier 1 team completes the setup for the agent. So before the agent ever actually receives anything from us, our Tier 1 team is going to complete it. And then our Tier 2 team is going to quality check it and add on any extra items that maybe are now being utilized by the office, or maybe just extra items that we're helping out with, or anything for compliance as well too, right? So specifically if it's in New York, Texas, California, any place where we're going to need that specific compliance set up on there. Now, once it goes out to the agent, you'll then be blind carbon copied on it. And the reason I always like to highlight this on here is because you'll be CC'd on that first one that goes out where it says first draft, just to kind of let you know, like, hey, this has come out. So in case you actually want to, geez, in this case, jumpstart that next meeting with the agent, you're more than welcome to. All right. And then, of course, once the final version comes out, then you'll be blind carbon copied on it. So you'll see when that came out, at what time, and what's been set up on here. Now, once you click on this link, though, this is what it's going to take you over to. All right, it's going to be a specific URL for the agents to use, and you can go ahead and save this if you want to. So in that way, when they're going through, it's going to be slmonboarding.com/your market center number / and then a bunch of letters and numbers for the agent. All right, but once they put inside their market center number on here, all right, then it's going to have all the information we set up for them. So whenever they fill out that questionnaire now, we're still doing a plethora of items for them. We're still setting up their email, setting up their website, going through setting up and syncing DocuSign or even .loop, depending on what the office might be utilizing. We're still going through and making sure all profiles are set up correctly, adding in some external options as well, too, that we're going to talk about in a second. All right. So right up here, it's going to highlight, here's how you can access the website, our personal website at scoutleroymarketing.com. Any onboarding notes we may have. In addition to that, what the login and password might be for their command account or all their different KW tools. What their G Suite or Google Workspace email might be on here as well, too, and how they can access it. And then, of course, some other stuff, like what is their Command IDX website URL? What is their agent profile URL? What's their command email? So when any replies come back, what is that going to look like? What's their consumer app link? Keller Home Loans, Keller Covered, Twilio, DocuSign on here. And if we were able to complete everything and sync that with their backend, what is that password recovery answer? What is their Homekeeper account if they want to utilize any auto blogs on here as well, too? All right. We also are setting up Calendly now. So if they want to have a calendar invite where they can automatically say, here is a 30-minute real estate consultation, this will be accessible for them. All right. And once this is available to be put on the websites, we'll be embedding that for them as well, too. Their Blink digital business cards, if they want to have something outside of a physical business card or even just the QR code option that's available on the Command app, this will be a more visual business card that they can utilize and customize. And then, of course, a Zoom account. Inevitably, I have a strong feeling that agents may or may not use Zoom once or 80 times. So this might help out a little bit on here. But in addition to that, we also have some helpful resources on here, like where they can access royalty-free media sites, answers.kw.com, KW Connect, Ignite, our training, and then, of course, next steps for them too, and support numbers and emails to keep on file. Now, that Calendly account, just to give you a heads up, this is getting set up for every agent on here. So for that Calendly account on here directly, all right, as we can see, it's just going to give them a quick 30-minute general real estate, consultation option for them to schedule on here. So if they want to use it for, in this case, their clients, for other agents, for any vendors, they're definitely more than welcome to. For the digital business card, it's just going to be something that'll have their headshot, office logo, some different information for their branding, obviously. And then, of course, links on here to access the website, their social media accounts, their mobile app. All right, but a couple other things we are doing as well. So moving forward, you're going to see a couple other big things. So first and foremost, every office is automatically going to receive a download my app QR code. That's going to be attached to that setup complete email. We're going to have one that'll link with their website. So it'll automatically sync with the website. We're going to have email signature, just templates on here that we're going to automatically do for the agent. So they won't get all these. I'm just showing you some of the example options on here. All right, and then it'll have your information, obviously not like our logo or anything, but it'll have their info, your logo on there, anything for compliance. All right, and then also a quick little blurb on here of I just joined forces with, and then obviously your office logo on here. Now, the one big thing that we want to highlight on this is, first and foremost, if they have a headshot, we want to put that on here. If not, no worries. We have, different variations where it's without a headshot to help them out, but something where they can then show this on social media to highlight, hey, I'm now working with Keller Williams. So something extra on the onboarding side. Now, a couple other things that we are doing as well, too, and I want to make sure y'all know about this. And we're going to talk about this in a second on the website. But for all agents that are getting set up, we're also launching the 10 KWI Smart Plans. So I believe I'm way past these on here, but the 10 KWI smart plans on there. All right. And then also we're launching, let me come back down on here. Perfect. All right. We're also launching our 30-day new KW agent challenge. So this is our 30-day challenge that we've converted to a smart plan. It's going to be 30 tasks that are going to take, 1 day a piece, obviously. And it's going to go over everything that the agents will need to do to utilize all the different KW technology even further. So on here, for instance, day 1 is to download your Command mobile app and sign in. And it'll give them info on how to do that. Or day 2 is to download your KW consumer app and create an account. Now, some of these days on here will be training options like this one for day 3. And some of the items will actually be for us to do for them. So like on day 6, for instance, export contacts from your phone, email, etc., to send over to SLM support. On day 7, send up to 5 CSV files of contacts to SLM to import for you. So it's definitely meant to highlight a bunch of different items that we'll be able to do for them on their behalf. Now, one other thing I do want to highlight about this as well, too. Let me see if this will allow me to. I always get stuck on the smart plan one. For some reason, it freezes on me on here. So fingers crossed it doesn't. All right. But one other big thing I do want to highlight on this as well is that on the home page, it's going to have all those different tasks set up. So that way the agents will not only get to learn how to utilize Command a little bit further, they're going to see how they can utilize their tasks section a little bit quicker as well, too, how they can use all of our services, and then more importantly, what that smart plan is going to look like and how they can edit it before it ever even goes out to any of their clients. Because we're going to add that agent as a contact inside the contact section on here so we can get that uploaded right away. All right, we definitely want to add them in, and then we're going to add them over to that smart plan. Now, one other thing that I do want to highlight on here as well, too, is that if you would like your office leadership and office ALC or whoever it might be, if you want those contacts imported into the Command account for the agent to automatically have that set up, please let us know. All right, we can actually do that for you. We would just need the CSV file of the office leadership, and we can actually import that every time for all agents so they have that contact information ready to go. And we'll tag them as, office leadership, as ALC, whatever you'd like them to be tagged as to make it a little bit simpler. So that is something that is available for y'all to utilize. All right. Now, the last thing I am going to highlight, this is something new that we are launching as well, too, is we are going to be launching a smart plan for the agents that just says, just joined KW. So this is being converted from just a simple text email on here to then include that piece that we're going to be creating for the agents saying that I've joined forces with Keller Williams. So this will give them something that they can then send out to their database once that is fully imported. So on here, it's just saying something simple, like I'm excited to announce that I've joined the largest or the world's largest real estate company. Whether you're looking now or in the future to buy, sell, or rent real estate, please reach out to me at any time. Obviously, certain things for them to go through and adjust whenever they want to, but it'll be under that design section that this will be accessible, and we're going to automatically upload this for agents to use and put that design in there for them also. And of course, since we'll be doing the email signatures now too, if we set up their KW.com email, we'll be putting that signature on there as well. All right, so a few fun things that I wanted to highlight for y'all. Always nice to kind of get that highlighted over here, just so you kind of see what everything looks like. All right, but now going back into this. All right, now we've gone through the onboarding side. Let's actually talk about everything else that's available. All right, so the next big thing that we have on here is obviously that KW, the new agent websites, training and information. So if you haven't seen quite yet, obviously KW has launched the upgraded versions of the websites that agents can now utilize if they want to. They're not obligated to use it yet. And so I always want to say they don't have to use it yet. In the near future, it'll automatically upgrade. But right now, if they want to, beta test the new sites, kind of jump in there, be an early adopter, they definitely can. So if they want to learn more about the new agent sites, we've also had 2 training classes ourselves. The other one literally just ended today at 2 o'clock Eastern time, so about an hour and a half ago. So that's going to be uploaded on our training section a little bit later on. But if you want to see more information, we have a section just on that right now. All right, we also have live webinars that are happening every Monday through Friday. So on this same URL that y'all accessed, on that slmwebinar.com URL, this is where you can actually access those live webinars. So this will take you over where the agents can actually learn along with us. So if you want to see any of the training classes that are available, we have our training calendars, we have our challenges on here, and then also our cheat sheets as well, too. Those are the 3 big items under training I always like to highlight. All right, so we're all under agent resources and now under that training section. Now for the training calendar on here, this is where you can actually see all the different training classes that are happening, what's coming up this week, what's coming up this upcoming month. So right here, we can see to join the live webinar, visit slmwebinar.com. All right, or of course, on top of that, if they need to, they can also come back over here to slmtraining.com to access the recorded version as well too. Now, with that being said, we also have every other Friday a You Choose class where agents will actually be able to go through and vote for what they want us to teach. So a nice little like you pick option on here. So we can see for this one, for instance, so here's the upcoming calendar, for the end of September. All right, and then also going in, sorry, not the end of September. We're currently in the end of September. There it is. I was about to say, that is not the class we had today. Going into October on here as well too. All right, so if agents want to come on here and vote for the particular class that we're going to teach, it'll give them 3 different options they can choose. And we're usually taking this based off of what agents are requesting. So we actually have this down here, not seeing your choice listed, let us know. And then we're actually adding that the next month as an option on here if we're seeing agents requesting a specific option. Now, if you want to add this over to your training calendar, please feel free. All right, so that way you can add in some additional training opportunities on here. If you have a Google Calendar, you can go and click on this option on here to add Google Calendar, our Google Calendar over to yours. Or, of course, we also happen to have all of our upcoming training classes accessible on here as well, too. So we've got our October. This is the first time they've actually changed this to say October or the next month when it happened. I need to give some kudos to our team over here for changing that. Normally, they've already updated the calendars and they always forget to change that. So I'm very excited to see that. All right, but it'll have all the different time zones on here. So whether it's Eastern, Central, Mountain Daylight, and Mountain Standard, we have that segmented for y'all. All right, all this is accessible. Just make sure that you click on the proper one because it will have the times already done for you. So here's the EDT one where it's starting at 1, but here's the CDT version where it's going to be starting at 12 o'clock. So make sure you download and print off the proper one for your time zone. And if you want to add these classes once again to your calendar and you want to put a 1 to 2 sentence overview, we do have that available down here as well, just to highlight this. Now, these classes on here are segmented by the day. So we can see Monday through Friday on here. And of course, our Monday classes are always going to be the same. It's all that command overview class. So we really want to get the agents to learn a little bit more about now that they're set up, where is everything located? How can I utilize it? What all is accessible on here. But then more importantly, after that, then we're going to have our Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday classes. So on Tuesday, let's say they've gone through the Monday class, they now know where everything is. They've gotten a quick overview, a 30, 40,000 foot overview. Now let's dive deeper into everything. So now do they want to learn more about the websites? Do they want to learn more about smart plans? Do they want to learn more about direct mailers? Do they want to learn more about opportunities or DocuSign? All right, we're going to have different classes for them on here. Now, all of these courses are workshop style classes, so it does help when the agents are able to watch it on one side or one monitor and then view it on another. But inevitably, at the end of the day, it's completely up to y'all. Some offices will elect to actually have the classes in person, but I know having them every day at 1 o'clock Eastern time normally isn't a possibility, so that's understandable. But in this case, you can also replay any of our recorded versions at any time. All right, so with that being said on here, if you say like, hey, let's say it's this upcoming month, a lot of agents really want to learn more about smart plans. We don't have a smart plan class in our office, but we can't do it on the 4th. So we're going to do it on the 5th at 3 p.m. Well, then you can actually replay the recorded version that I'll show you in a second, and then just have it in the training room where it's playing that recorded version from the day prior or the most recent class prior. Agents are able to watch it on the training, TV, training monitor, whatever it might be, and then able to do it on their laptop or their tablet that they've brought inside. All right. And of course, if you are able to live stream them, fantastic, even better, but then again, they can ask questions, obviously. But of course, at the end of the day, I know sometimes it's hard to have that every day at 1 o'clock. Now, what some offices will do, so since this is a leadership-focused class today, I do want to highlight what some offices will do and what we usually suggest, is sometimes offices will take our classes and supplement them. All right, so what I mean by that is some offices might say like, hey, we see that you're doing a DocuSign 101 class. So if agents want to learn more about the basics of DocuSign, this is the class they're going to go to. And then we're going to have a DocuSign 201 class that's really going to be more about how do they submit everything for compliance? Like how can they actually submit that commission request over to the MCA or the transaction coordinator who might be in the office? And then also, how can they get paid at the closing? You know, what documents should they be utilizing for, you know, your particular office or your board? So we definitely want to give you all plenty of opportunities on here to say like, hey, here's an overview class. But then outside of that, how do we actually, you know, go even further beyond this? So I definitely want to give you the opportunity on that. All right. So that's all accessible on here, just to give you all a nice little basically update on here of everything that's available, especially on the live training side. All right. Now, with that being said, though, outside of being able to print this off, and obviously I would highly suggest printing this and, you know, geez, then putting it over inside the intake packet for agents, or even just going through and download this and send it out to agents as well, too. All right. But then beyond the training calendar side, all right, we also happen to have all of our challenges. So for our challenges on here, we have different 30-day challenges or 7 to 14-day challenges as well, too. That'll allow us to basically go through and kind of say, hey, you know, over the next 30 days, how do I get started with X? You know, or in the next 7 to 14 days, I really just want to learn about these items, and I just want the top items that I can utilize on here. So we definitely want to make sure that's taken care of for y'all as quick as possible. Now, that command one, though, this is a printable version. So if you have someone that is saying like, hey, you know, I'm more of a physical person. I want to hold a piece of paper. I want to mark it off. This will be perfect for you. All right. Because on here, for instance, this is going to be our 30-day challenge. And we've got it as, you know, obviously a smart plan. But then outside of that, this is also our 30-day challenge on here in printable form. So if you want to have this for agents where they go through and they mark everything off once it's completed, that's definitely an opportunity on here too. All right. And once again, you're going to notice on like every fifth day or so, it's basically asking us to do something like request SLM to add 1+ testimonials to your site, request SLM to feature active residential listings on your site, you know, send any outstanding items or adjustments needed to your platform to SLM. Now, one big thing that I always like to highlight on this as well, too, is a lot of offices have said, you know, how do we know when the agent has completed it? How do we know when they're actually done with this 30-day challenge? And although we, you know, we can't force the agents to go through all 30 days. And in fact, they could technically lie to us. We're not going to spot check it or anything of that sort. We're going off the honor system on here. But on day 30, we actually ask the agents to basically email us for a 30-day challenge, you know, certificate. Now, what we do with this is we then send it back over to the agent for them to fill out and say which certificate type do they want. And then more importantly on here, we also then go through and we CC the office staff. So that way y'all know, hey, John Smith completed this. So if you want to highlight that at the next team meeting, or if you want to let other agents know like, hey, congratulations, you know, you're now a little bit more well-versed with command, you know, feel free. All right. So that's all accessible on here. And then, of course, the final thing that I really wanted to highlight once again in that training section on here, we talked about training calendars. We talked about our challenges, are also the cheat sheets. So similar to answers.kdb.com, this is going to be a printable option that's going to go over specific items, specific applets inside the KDB backend that agents can utilize, but it's going to give them walkthrough FAQ options. So if agents are more of like, hey, I just want to see the steps written out, this will be perfect for them. All right. Waiting for it to pull up fully. There we go. All right. So on here, we're going to talk about what exactly it is that they're utilizing. What are they seeing? So first and foremost, what is the design section? All right. When I'm looking at designs, what are my options that are available? When I'm looking at an email design, for instance, all right, how do I create an email design? Perfect. All right. When I'm creating that, what is it that I'm looking at when I'm editing this? Or how do I go through and create a print or social piece? All right. So we want to give them walkthrough step-by-step items. So my favorite way of describing this is it's instructions. That's the best way to think about it. But I always like to think of it as like printing off MapQuest direction. So it's a great way to kind of see everything written out step by step of what you need to do at each turn on here. So depending on the type of agent, we have every type of training opportunity available for them. So first and foremost, if the agents are saying, hey, I'm a visual learner, I want to be there when everything is live. I want to ask questions, much like y'all are right now. We have that available. If they say, no, hey, I want to, do the challenges on my own, and I want to be able to, walk through everything, see what I need to do in 30 days. I'm a very motivated person. They're big on commitment on here, then this will be fantastic for them. If they want to see everything written out, we've got those cheat sheets so they can see an instruction manual of everything, and it'll talk about what they're doing. Now, if they're also a visual learner, but maybe they're not, maybe they're dual career right now. Maybe they don't have the availability to jump on a 1 hour, webinar every day. That's understandable. All right. We do record everything. All right. We probably record too much at the end of the day, but we record everything. So on here, whenever those classes are completed, so like that new command websites class that I was talking about, that's going to be uploaded and available on here later on today. So once that's actually uploaded, when we click on KW IDX website, then the first thing that'll pop up in that IDX website playlist will say something like the new, or, customize the new KW websites -9/26, or whatever the title of the class was today. That was a horrible title, so I hope it wasn't that. But it'll say something like 9/26. You'll know, hey, this is the class from September 26th for me to utilize. Now you'll notice all these classes are alphabetically organized, but then chronologically organized so you can access them immediately. All right, so once you find the type of class you're looking for, if you click on it, it's going to show you that that playlist with the most recent version first. And once again, we will always put the date of the class in that title. Now, another big thing that we do, and you'll probably end up receiving some of an email today with our tech tips on here. Typically every Tuesday, it's weekly, we send out a tech tip email that just goes out to leadership. All right, so only the leadership, it's not going out to the agents. But this is basically meant to have 5 tip videos on there that are 1 to 5 minutes, really for the agents to go through and just kind of say, all right, if I want to learn about one specific item in a quick instance, how do I do that? All right, so maybe the agents are going through and saying like, hey, I want to learn how to do the new Facebook ad campaign, but I really don't need to learn about everything. Right, then this is where we can actually access that through the tech tips. All right, so what that means is that whenever these are coming out to y'all, please feel free to distribute them to the agents however you want to. All right, so if you want to send it out and just mass email it, you definitely can. If you want to, geez, in this case, maybe post it out on your Facebook group, you definitely can do that as well too. I'll say this much. When we started doing tips, I think we started the tips probably back in 2015, 2016, maybe 20, I don't know what day. I'm going to say 2015. I feel like a lot of things were done then. When we started doing the tips, though, and we were sending these out weekly, the idea was for us to send out 5 tips that offices could then share with the agents on like the Facebook groups once per day. So that way, you're able to share some quality content. And then the agents are also able to see, hey, this tip from Scout Leroy Marketing is coming from this staff member in the office. That's a trusted resource. So we can reach out to Scout Leroy Marketing. They'll be able to help us out. All right, so I definitely want to get our name out in front of them as much as possible to help to alleviate some of these tech questions from y'all and make your life a little bit easier. So if you are not receiving those weekly emails, or if you did not, a great way to think about it is if you did not receive the email highlighting this class today, all right, then definitely put your email inside that chat section on Zoom. So that way I can add you over to that list right away. I want to make sure you're getting those immediately. All right. So that's all the training aspects that are available for agents on here. Now, my favorite thing that I always like to highlight, and obviously when we're doing a team meeting, whenever it's myself jumping into a team meeting or our account manager, Joe, or whoever it might be on our team that's jumping in, normally time is of the essence. So we usually shoot for about 5 minutes. We're like, that's probably around the amount of time, one that we will have because team meetings are chock full of information, and 2, that we might be able to keep the attention of everyone. But in this case, whenever we do that, we like to talk about everything on here. And we always talk about like the existing agent questionnaires, how they can access our training, but then we always click on this agent support link. This is the most crucial thing, in my opinion, that we offer that all agents in the office and all office staff can really take advantage of even more. And the reason I say that is because you might be taking advantage of everything on here but one item, but you can always utilize that even more. All right, so on here, for instance, at the bottom of every page, we have our contact info. So I always tell offices, if the agents have any issues, questions, or concerns, please feel free to have them reach out to us. We can help out with everything right away. So whether it's I can't sign in, I'm having an issue with my website, this isn't working on DocuSign, whatever it might be, we can help out with that right away. So think of us as an extra tech staff member in the office to make your life a little bit easier. All right, but then outside of that, we also have free services just for the agents. And this is why I always like to highlight this, because one, I always like to let the agents know, think of us as an extra tech person in the office, because that's a great way to just come in and say like, hey, geez, here's our main tech person in the office that I always talk to. Well, now I have another source that I can go to as well. So if I'm not in the office, I can reach out to them, or even if I am in the office, I can still reach out to them. But then on top of that, here's all the stuff that we'll do for free that they would typically have to hire a marketing or admin person to do. So if they were just saying like, hey, I just want my command account up and running, or I just need to start a smart plan, I want to use the monthly neighborhood nurture, and I want to put these 600 contacts on it. All right, or I need help getting these 600 contacts into command. All right, we can help to do that as well too. This is without a doubt the number one item that agents will reach out about. And I don't think that's ever going to change. It's been the number one item probably, well, we've been around for 11 years. And I think we started offering the support side on here officially 10 years ago. So it's been the number one item for 10 years now. So this is easily the big item that every agent will want to utilize. And even if it's, an existing, or not even an existing agent, sorry, a brand new agent, we can help to get this from their phone or from their email. If it's an existing agent, we can get that from their other CRM that they may have been utilizing. All right, if it's an agent that's with the office that is then thinking about transitioning from their current platform over to Command, we can help with that. So there's always something we can do on here to make their life a little bit easier. All right, we even have services all around Keller Cloud platforms. One new big item is that we can actually create Canva accounts for agents. This is going to play a big part in a second, and I'll show you why. All right. We can also help to update team information for agents. So if they're joining a team or creating a team, we can adjust that. If they're leaving a team, we can help to remove that information. We can create QR codes for agents. If they have a new bio, email, headshot, phone number, social media info, we can update that everywhere possible inside their command account, all right, and all their different KW tools. We definitely want to make sure this stands out as much as possible for them and takes this off their plates. They don't have to worry about anything. All right, we even have services around their KW.com email. So obviously setting this up is something that we're going to do, during the setup process, right? During that questionnaire phase, we're going to get this going for them. But maybe if it's just an admin that's like, I don't need anything else, I just want the email, we can help out with that. If they want a new alias, we can help with that as well too. Or even if they want this forwarded, we have this happen all the time where agents will say, I'm going to use my KW.com email, but then later on they get a custom email address and they want that forwarded over so we can get that adjusted. All right, and then even services around the website. Now, most of these services right now are focused on the prior command site. So we are going to be making adjustments. Obviously, now the new command site is available. So once new pages are able to be added inside, which hopefully will be very, very soon, a lot of new updates are going to be happening on here. But if agents need help adding testimonials, adding a download app page, forwarding their custom domain, featuring their listings, setting up Google Analytics, we can do all of that for them on here to help them out. All right. And then, of course, if you happen to be in one of these areas, we also have compliance updates. So if you're in the state of California, Arizona, I should say Arizona, California, Louisiana, New York, or Texas, we have specific compliance updates for y'all. Geez, I'm messing up on this one right here. Compliance updates to make sure that everyone is set up properly. So they obviously are not getting audited for that. And then, of course, one other big thing I want to highlight, we do this for a lot of offices. So when I was talking about the onboarding section earlier, I mentioned that if you have a CSV file of the office leadership and the ALC, we can upload that to every agent that we but every agent that we complete. We can import it for them. But also, if you have preferred vendors, if you have a mortgage provider, a lender, title company, whatever it might be, and you want their information or their logo on the website, we can do that as well too. We can make a little preferred vendor page on there. I know a lot of offices will take advantage of this because one, they'll utilize that either A, for the MSA agreements, B, sometimes they'll just actually have that particular provider or preferred vendor actually paid for our services. So we want to show them value on there. So that's a great way to kind of split costs with that preferred vendor as well too. And then also just, see, it's great to have that preferred vendor section on there already. So if the agents are coming in, in production, or maybe they're coming in, they already have someone ready to go and they need to, get started on this immediately. Like they're coming in out the gate, ready to go. And here's my new client. This is always great to have some additional vendors on here so they don't have to worry about anything. All right, now once you click on any of these buttons, there is going to be a quick short form on here that's just going to ask the agents a few different questions just for us to know exactly what they might be looking for. So on here, we can actually, simple stuff like what's your name, email, market center information, what's the URL for the QR code. Now, if an agent sends us over an email with this information, we're not going to tell them, hey, please fill this out in order for us to complete that form. All right, we're going to go ahead and get that done for them so they don't have to worry about anything. This just helps us to keep track of everything and definitely give you all high quality analytics on usage reports. All right. And one thing I would love to see, I know the chat section's been a little bit quiet during this call. That's okay. We do ask random questions at the bottom of every support form that we have. This is one of my all-time personal favorites on here. So if you do have a favorite dinosaur and you want to put it inside the chat section, please do. I'd love to know what it is. All right. So that's all available for that agent support section. But then we also have a leadership support section on here too. So one thing I would highly suggest as leadership in the office, we have our 30-day launch. Now, this inevitably is meant for offices that are just now starting with us. But what I always say is this is great to utilize, maybe every 6 months, every 12 months, however long you want to, maybe even 24 months if you're doing a great job and you are getting the most out of all of our services. I always am of the mindset that if you think you're getting the most out of all of it, we can push it a little bit further and get you even more on there, though. All right. I definitely want to make sure you are utilizing everything possible. This 30-day launch is just like our 30-day challenge. It's going to give you some helpful tips on here. It's not in a smart plan, unfortunately. But then once you click on this, it's going to give you that PDF that you can utilize on here to see what all you can actually do to utilize our services even further. So like day one, send SLM your most up-to-date roster to send out to out with our intro email. I need to adjust that. That is horrible. All right. Day two, print out our training flyers for the month to distribute to the agents / post around the office. Day three, add our training classes to your calendar. All right. My personal favorite is schedule Scott for a team meeting overview. All right. Typically takes 5 minutes. It's always nice to hop on there and say hello to everyone. All right. So I'd highly suggest taking advantage of that 30-day challenge on here for the office leadership, that is. We also have our own leadership support. So in this case, if you are, maybe you're going through and you're saying like, I need help importing these contacts into Command MC, we can do that for you. If you need help adding those contacts from Command MC over to a Recruit Smart Plan, we can do that as well. All right, if you need help just starting the office website, we can get that going. We can even help to audit the list hub exceptions report. So if you happen to have a larger than life or even just a relatively large list hub exceptions report, we can go through and update that everywhere possible inside the Command MC Associates section to make sure those, the MLS ID is in the back end there properly and everything's feeding over. Now, a couple other big things that we do have a resource website and a market center site that you're able to utilize. The resource website is more of an internal site, and the MC website is more of an external site. So this one is more for the retention side, whereas this is more for the external consumer and recruiting side. So we'll talk about that in a second. And then, of course, we also have our offboarding support on here, too. I know we don't usually like to talk about this, but if you do have to offboard someone, I know we're getting near the end of the month, so that might be happening. We can help to offboard them, so I'll talk about that in a second. And then, of course, if you ever want to see the office marketing flyers on here that you want to download and hand out to agents, definitely more than welcome to. Everything I'm jabbering on about is in written form on here as well under that SLM overview. And of course, a section to track your office. And we're redoing our track your office section. So it's going to be a little bit more, I hate to say it, but I really love how this looks. I've never actually purchased pizza from this place, but the Domino's pizza tracker actually is very interesting to me. I always love that thing. So we're going to make something hopefully very similar to that. All right. Now, with that being said, there are 2 websites that are available for y'all. So the first one is this KW resource website. All right, this is more of an internal site where you can highlight your own resources that you want to focus on, have links that'll go out to everything possible. Like as you can see on here, we've got certain links that are going out to tech help, links that are going to potentially office documents like the MLS board, office Facebook group, DNC registry sign up, showing time, MC sites and calendars, KW links. All right, there's a place for you to highlight your mortgage or your leadership in the office as well too, if you happen to have that leadership available. Same with the ALC on here. So this is more of an internal site for agents to utilize at the end of the day. Now, if you do want to use this, two things to note. One, you will need to be inside a non-kw.com Gmail account. So just a gmail.com email is perfect, or if you have a G Suite or Google Workspace custom email, that works too. Unfortunately, the kw.com emails do not allow for Google Sites, so you won't even be able to see this. But once you go to this page in a Gmail account, a gmail.com email or a Google Workspace email, and click the three dots at the top right, you can select make a copy, and this will allow you to make that copy of that site immediately so you can own it, update it. It's going to be yours to use forever. All right, so we have those KW resource site, and then we also have a Market Center sites website as well too. This is a WordPress website that we've bought through our partnership with Brandco. So this is meant for y'all to have your own physical WordPress website that you can use at the end of the day. That'll then allow you to highlight your leadership, highlight your locations. If you have multiple locations of business centers, mega agent offices, etc., highlight different pages on here for that, people that might be actually looking to buy or sell, for buying and selling. For the recruiting side, careers on here, how they can access our agents. So here is one office. I always love highlighting this office because they did a crazy good job on this, and they did this all on their own. So I have to give credit where credit is due. So I'll put this over inside our chat section too, in case y'all want to see this. And if y'all do not have access to your website and you want access, please feel free to email Scott at scottleroymarketing.com and put in the subject line, attention, Scott, MC website launch. And I can get that started for you right away. All right, but they did a great job. They put in a video back here that KW just came out with. They have their own video as well too, a bunch of additional items on here that they can utilize, how they can explore KW, but then more importantly, hey, here's all the leadership that we also have accessible on here. So this is going to highlight all the leadership in the office, their contact information, everything they need to utilize. It's also going to highlight the ALC. It's going to link back to the yourkwoffice.com sites. That way you don't have to pay for any type of feed for this to come back over for you. All right. So instead of having to pay for a feed for your agents to automatically feed back over to the site, this is just a free way to do it. All right. And then outside of that, also property search section, in addition to all these extra pages. So I always like to highlight this because they did a great job. So this is a phenomenal thing to see of like, hey, if we wanted to do something similar, who can we actually take a look at to, potentially duplicate? And this is one of my favorite ones. All right. But then they've got this set up where that Your KW Office site is iframed in here. All right. So that way they can search through that KWLS 2.0. Since it's linked up with their site, any of the, if anyone signs in, if they reach out, it's going to go back to the office directly. All right, but then it's also going to give you the optionality of having the entire KWLS 2.0 available. So basically that nationwide feed. All right, so it's not going to be MLS specific. All right, now the final thing in leadership I will highlight on here. All right, so we do have obviously offboarding help. So if agents are leaving Keller Williams, obviously never want to highlight it. I don't want the agents to leave, but inevitably it might happen at the end of the day. So if that does happen, this is a great way to kind of go about it. We have two different options on here, and then I'll show you one other of an office that, that did this recently. It worked out perfect. And this is what some offices will do. So we'll have different links on here where, hey, if the agent is leaving and they're filling this out, fantastic. If it's a member of the Market Center that's filling it out, that's fantastic as well too. And one thing to note, this form is only if you're leaving Keller Williams Realty completely. All right, so if you're transferring to another KW Market Center, we don't want to, futz with anything. We want to make sure that's good to go. All right, but if you are leaving Keller Williams completely, either getting out of real estate or going to another brokerage, this will help us to go in. And before they're out of Command MC, so before they leave Command MC and they're taken out, because we need to be able to access their account, we're going to shut down their website, shut down their profile, shut down their smart plan, shut down their app. We're going to go in there. We're going to export their contacts for them. We're going to go into the marketplace and turn off any paid subscriptions. That way they're not having to pay for anything that they're not utilizing anymore. So that's why it's crucial that this is only used if they're not going to another Market Center. Now, what some offices will do, and I'll highlight this one because she did a fantastic job on this, and this works out perfect as well too. This one just came in. So another option you can do is just say, hey, please offboard this agent. Here's their name. The password recovery email inside Command MC in that associate section has been changed to our email. So once we're done with it, we'll change it back to theirs. And then here's the username and the email address to send off to them once it's completed. So that way we can reset that password, hop inside, get everything done, and make sure they have a positive offboarding experience. So that way, if they notice that, hey, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, they decide to come back to KW, we can reactivate everything relatively quickly. All right. Now, the final thing I'm going to show y'all on here, under agent resources, we also have a bunch of templates now that are available for y'all, a la carte items as well, too. And then we obviously have our partnership with the agent store. So I believe, oh man, it's all over here under store, under like name tags and business cards now. We moved it around a little bit recently. All right, but this is all accessible for y'all. So we haven't highlighted it yet, but our templates went through a little bit of an upgrade. So the reason why under our support section, we can actually set up a free Canva account for agents now is because all of our templates are through Canva instead. So we have our free templates on here. So there's leadership templates that are available on the left-hand side, agent templates on the right-hand side, where once you actually click on them, you can see all the different templates that are available to utilize. All right, so that way you can go through and download all of them if you want to, and then use whichever ones you prefer. We also have a la carte options on here as well, too. That needs to be changed. All right, we have some a la carte options on here. So if agents are looking for us to kind of go through and do everything for them, they can actually purchase this directly. All right, or outside of that, we also have our agent concierge service as well, too. Under the agent concierge side, this is something that we're offering for offices either as a la carte, or we're offering it where it's just a package that the office can actually purchase that will actually do everything for the agents. So if the agents are coming in and saying, I want a listing post created, I want a flyer created, I want a postcard created, I want my daily content on here, selected on here and created, we can just make that for the agents. Then we even have a quote unquote luxury collection that really at the end of the day is just more black, white, gray, silver, and gold on here, as you can see. But if the agents are coming through and saying, hey, I want to utilize this for flyers, for instance, they can see all the different flyers. They can actually choose which one they want us to do. So maybe it's like, hey, I really want flyer number 5. Then they can actually purchase this directly. Or if the office has our marketing package on here, then we can actually go through and create this. And it's fully unlimited. So that way we can just go through and kind of get this started for the office and help out with everything. All right, but definitely feel free to take advantage under that agent resources section, all those different templates, especially the free ones, all through Canva now. So if you have a Canva account, you can download them for free and they'll all be ready to utilize. All right, but that is basically an overview of everything that we're offering with our virtual text services only, just the regular virtual text services, not even highlighting the enhanced, not even highlighting the VSC packages, but just the standard virtual text services. All right, so remember, everything is going to be focused under that agent resources section. Once you sign in with your market center number, a plethora of items on here, whether it's for new and existing agents to utilize to make your life a little bit easier and ensure they're fully set up properly with everything possible, whether it's on the KW Tech or even some external stuff we're doing for them now. All right, whether it's going through and talking about the training aspects that are available for y'all to utilize in addition to the office or in addition to the agents, whether it's the agent support that's available that you can drive the agents to utilize at the end of the day to start sending those questions our way, the leadership support that's accessible for y'all, including that 30-day launch, all of our support, our additional websites, offboarding, the ability to track your office. All right, and then of course on here, all those templates that I was talking about too, or even the upgraded agent concierge section also. So there you go. So hopefully this gave you guys a little bit of a good overview of everything we're providing. I know it's a lengthy class on here, so I appreciate everyone that stayed through. About 20% made it all the way through, so I'm going to count that as a win on here. All right, so, or sorry, 80% made it all the way through, 20% left, so that's definitely a win. All right, so if y'all ever need anything, if you ever have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to us. All right, at the bottom of every page is going to be our contact info, so please let us know if you ever need anything. I hope y'all are having a fantastic day today. Look forward to seeing y'all at our next training class. And more importantly, please let me know if there's ever anything that we can do for y'all as well too. And if you want us to join on any of your upcoming team meetings, let me know and I can get that added in my calendar right away. So thank you so much for hopping on here. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. All the way from Wisconsin, Minnesota over there, office 667. Thank you. All right. If y'all need anything, please let me know. Have a fantastic day, and I will see y'all very soon.
Scott, I have a question.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, shoot away.
Our agents, when they come onto your website to utilize everything, do they need their own login or do they have one? Is it their KW login? Is it the Market Center?
Great question. Just the Market Center login.
Just the
So
Market
just
Center.
648. Yeah,
Okay.
we've been mulling around with I don't know if that's the proper terminology, but basically thinking about changing it to where they'll have a different login and password. But to keep it simple, we've just done the
Yeah.
NC number. So once
No,
these
that's great. I had an agent walk over while you were training and I was talking about how much you had to offer. And she said, I don't know my login. So I thought I better ask before I give more information.
understand.
Also, thank you. Every time we have a question or need help, you guys are all over it. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
Awesome. I appreciate that. I'm gonna let them know right away. Anytime I ever hit any compliments, I always say I can't take any credit for that. We have a fantastic team. So,
Great. Thanks so much.
of course. I have a great day today.